Today we're into Final Fantasy Standard to summon Primal Odin. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and today our plan is pretty simple. We're trying to win in Final Fantasy Standard by summoning Primal Odin. So let's talk about our Primal Odin deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, see the deck in action. So we're built around one of my favorite Final Fantasy cards, which is Summon Primal Odin. One of the new Saga creatures is a Saga Knight. So this is a 6 mana 5/3. It has 3 chapters. Chapter number 1, when it enters, you destroy target creature and opponent control, so essentially an expensive removal spell on a body. The exciting chapter is chapter 2, which says this creature gains, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So if we can get the timing right and get in one attack after we get to chapter 2, we just win the game on the spot, which is super powerful. And then the last chapter, which hopefully we never see because our opponent's already going to be dead from the second chapter, but it's draw 2 cards, each opponent loses 2 life. So the trick of Summon Primal Odin, of course, is as a Saga creature, we only actually get 1 turn to attack with it. So we got to make sure that when we get to chapter 2, we can connect with Summon Primal Odin this turn. So how do we actually do that? And there's a few different plans in the deck, but the most straightforward is actually an old commander trick. We're playing 4 copies of Rogue's Passage, a land that for 4 and tapping can just make a creature unblockable. So this is a card that's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever played Rogue's Passage in a 60 card format before, like standard or modern. I've played it a ton in Commander. It's arguably a Commander staple, but in 60 card formats, it's just considered too expensive, right? You're paying essentially 5 mana to make one thing unblockable. But with Summon Primal Odin, we don't really care, because if we get in that 1 attack, we just win the game on the spot no matter what life total our opponent's at. So ideally, we just play Summon Primal Odin, blow up our opponent's best thing. Next turn, Rogue's Passage it, swing in. If you don't have removal, your opponent just dies. We also have some sweet reanimation synergies for Summon Primal Odin, which just speeds up the plan. So we got Zombify, just the cheapest reanimation in standard. 4 mana, get our Summon Primal Odin. But my favorite reanimation in the deck is Coiling Rebirth. So Coiling Rebirth, it's a really strong reanimation spell from Bloomburrow, but it's a spell that hasn't worked with the good reanimation decks in standard. So it's 5 mana to reanimate a creature, except you can gift your opponent a card, and if you do, and the creature you reanimate isn't legendary, you also get a 1/1 token copy of it. So this card hasn't really seen play in reanimation decks in standard, just because typically what those decks are trying to reanimate is like a Tally or a Troxa or Velgavoth, and they're all legends, so it doesn't do anything with Coiling Rebirth. But Summon Primal Odin, and actually all these new summon creatures, like our backup Summon Bahamut, they aren't legendary, so they're absolutely absurd with Coiling Rebirth. So we can just get a Summon Primal Odin into the graveyard, Coiling Rebirth, gift you a card, get 2 copies of it, blow up your 2 best creatures, and then we're just like, all right, can you kill 2 Summon Primal Odins before your next turn? If not, hopefully one gets through and wins us the game. Also really good with Summon Bahamut. So this is our backup reanimation target. Also works with Coiling Rebirth since it's not legendary. Not as immediately game ending as Summon Primal Odin. We can't just win in 1 attack, but it's still very good. It's a 9/9 flyer, 2 chapters that blow up any non-land permanent. Then we draw cards, get a bunch of direct damage. So if we can't win with Summon Primal Odin, or we need to get like an annoying non-creature permanent off the battlefield, Summon Bahamut, our backup plan for reanimation. We also have just a bunch of ways to stock the graveyard. Overlord of the Battlemark, kind of funny. We don't have that many creatures in the deck, so it whiffs a lot in the early game, but it fills our graveyard for our reanimation stuff. And in the late game, it's also really good with Summon Primal Odin, because our opponent has to kill Summon Primal Odin, or it's going to kill them, especially with Rogue's Passage. So if our opponent kills Summon Primal Odin, we're like, all right, Overlord, get it back, play it again, kill your thing. Do you have another removal spell? Collector's Vault loops through the deck, Bitter Triumph removal that lets us discard. Liliana's kind of the same removal spell that lets us discard, and in theory can just win a game by itself if it goes unchecked. Rounding out the deck, Harvester of Miseries, essentially early game removal that we can also reanimate. And then Cruel Claw's Heist, like a Thought Seize, it lets us Thought Seize the top of our opponent's deck. I gotta say, every time I play Cruel Claw's Heist, I come away from it feeling like this card's actually really, really good. Can be a little slow against aggro sometimes, but still, really powerful effect. Mana base, we talked about Rogue's Passage, Blast Zone, basically to help us fight against graveyard hate. If our opponent plays a Rest in Peace, or our opponent plays a Ghost Vacuum, this is a land that can blow it up. Also good against the aggro decks. A bunch of swamps in the sideboard, a bunch of removals, some sweepers, some graveyard hate, duress, and Unholy Annex for control. And that is Summon Primal Odin for standard. And that's our deck for today. So let's jump into some games and and see just how realistic it is to win with a single attack from Summon Primal Odin in Standard. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. It is time to summon Primal Odin. We are trying to grind our opponent out and eventually win with one attack from a 6-drop. I actually think Summon Primal Odin might be kind of good. I actually think it might be kind of, it looks like a meme card, but I think it might actually be good. And we have some sweet, ooh, speaking of Summon Primal Odin, hello friend. You might not be saying hello after Summon Primal Odin comes down. Opponent appears to be Borosing and passes. Well, Swamp, and we're going to gift you a card, opponent, with a Cruel Claw Size. Let's see what our opponent's up to over there. I also think Cruel Claw Size is really good. Every time I play with or against it, I'm like, why don't I play this card more? Frontline Rush, sure, make a couple 1/1s, and we will steal your, 2 Downies, Torch the Tower, we don't really care. Magebane Lizard, we also don't really care. I mean, I guess we take Magebane because it's a good blocker? I guess I would take the Downy if there was only 1 Downy. But with 2 Downies and them being legendary, it kind of doesn't make sense to take a Downy. Opponent, Downies, gets in, hits us down to 18. Well, let's play the Swamp. Not a great board for Liliana. I guess we just, yeah, Magebane Lizard on defense, do a little blocking. And, oh wow, gets in. I think our opponent's used to all their stuff being unblockable with Downy out, but 1-power creatures can still block. Either that or this is a trap, and they're going to, wait, are they gonna like, no. Are they gonna attack like this, sack the other token to torch the tower to get 3 damage on the Magebane Lizard? Oh, okay, we're fine with this. Wow. That was the greatest Cruel Claw. We cast Cruel Claw Size. We took the Magebane Lizard. It killed both the tokens from the frontline rush, and it took the Torch the Tower out of our opponent's hand. Oh, Zombify. Okay. Wait a minute. That's interesting. How much do we care about Downy? Do we need to tick down? We could tick up. I think we got to kill Downy. Hopefully our Liliana lives. We would like to tick up, discard the Summon Primal Odin, reanimate it, and start working on the one-shot. Opponent, Downy number 2. Well, Summon Primal Odin can take, ooh, okay. All right, opponent hits the Lily. Well, let's play the Blast Zone, run out a Overlord, do a little milling. All right, we get a Liliana back, that's fine. Didn't mill anything to reanimate, but the Liliana can discard the Summon Primal Odin. Is our opponent like Downy Mardu stuff? Like Downy Mobilize? Well, I think we're going to get in with this Overlord, because we could just mill something worth reanimating. Oh god, like, how about a Summon Bahamut? Well, we're going to leave that in the graveyard, I think. we're gonna leave that. We will give up our card advantage. Hit you to 14, play a land, and I mean, how about a 9/9? And I guess we can also just blow up the Downy and pay the ward. Oh god, this has got to be over. Okay, well, that went pretty well. That went super well. Opponent's playing some sort of Boros Downy aggro. I guess we just bring in some removals, I guess. Filgry Silex seems good against the tokens. Maybe go down some of the Summon Bahamuts and try it like that. My thinking with Summon Bahamut is, so in game 1, we're kind of free to do whatever reanimation stuff. In game 2, if our opponent knows what's going on, they're probably going to bring in Graveyard Hate, and then we cut some of the Summon Bahamuts, because the huge upside of Summon Primal Odin is it's good enough to be a reanimation target, but it's also cheap enough that we don't mind just casting it. So we can kind of like be this graveyard deck that then doesn't care as much about the graveyard when we need to after sideboarding. This hand's weird. This hand's really good if we draw something big to discard to Lily to Zombify. I mean, Harvester's not the worst draw against what our opponent's doing. Swamp, go. All right, I'm still not really sure what our opponent's deck is actually doing. All right, there's a Rest in Peace. Well, we were just talking about how after sideboarding, We try to not care as much about reanimating. I guess we can discard some Zombifies to Liliana. Or the other cool part of this deck is we got the Blast Stones in the graveyard. So if we need to, we can just Blast Stone away the Rest in Peace. But this might be a Lily game. Opponent's on the mulligan. This might be a just try to pick apart your hand with Lily and maybe win with Lily Ultimate. I guess you don't win with Lily Ultimate, but usually people just scoop with Lily Ultimates. Opponent discards a land. I mean, they could fire up the creature land if they have a land here. Yeah, it looks like creature. I mean, we're all tapped out, so it's pretty safe. What is a Bivouac? I don't even know what a Bivouac is. Opponent hits a Lily. Okay, Bitter Triumph's actually kind of great. That can punish our opponent for activating their creature land. We're just going to keep discarding some Zombifies here. I think this Rest in Peace is probably going to stick. We're just going to go on the cast a Summon Primal Odin plan. Get in there. Burnout Bastronaut. Kind of forgot about that card. Start Your Engines has not taken off as a theme in Standard. It'll be one of the reasons, so we talk a lot about bannings in Standard with the big yearly ban list update coming up and prowess and nice. One of the other upsides that I think doesn't get talked about as much when it comes to bannings, we're going to put a counter on this Blast Zone. We might actually, well, we'll see. We could get rid of the Rest in Peace in the future. Drawing a land wouldn't be bad. Then we can just run out the Harvester of Miseries. Get rid of the Bastronaut, have a blocker, and let's take up Lily. We are just going to discard a Lily here. Actually, you know what, let's get rid of the last Zombify. One of the other upsides, if they do nerf like Prowess or Mice, is maybe we get to see like Mobilize or Start Your Engines, Burnout Bastronaut aggro. Like, maybe we get some other variant of aggro that would be good enough, because I feel like the Start Your Engine stuff or like Mobilize, I feel like those are pretty powerful mechanics. Well, maybe not Start Your Engines, Mobilize at least. But I feel like they're strong mechanics that could have good aggro decks built around them. But I feel like people just aren't incentivized to really build and play those decks, because the end result's like, okay, it's good, but it's a bit worse than Mice, or it's a bit worse than Prowess. So maybe we end up in a world eventually after rotation where maybe we see Burnout Bastronaut, maybe we see like some of these mechanics. Opponent's gonna get in at the Lily. I think we just traded off. We're not here to win with Harvester Miseries. We are here to win with Summon Primal Odin. Well, take up the Lily. Discard the Lily. I mean, we're gonna draw it eventually. Sooner or later, we will find a Primal Odin. Either that or this Lily is gonna get to 6 and our opponent's gonna scoop. one of two things about it. Delnier. Well, good card, unless your opponent has a cut down. Oh, we have so much removal. I think we keep taking up Lily. I think we're actually on the ultimate Lily plan here. I think that is actually our primary game plan. We can cut down the Downey and then put our opponent down to like 2 lands, or get rid of the Rest in Peace. Probably a combination. Maybe like land Rest in Peace versus 3 lands. They probably still have to choose the 3 lands, right? Well, kill the Downey. Protect the Lily. Well, all right. We never will know what our opponent will do, because opponent scoops it up. Well, no Summon Primal Odin, but pretty good win, I would say. Not bad. Lily heavy. Lilytron assembled. I think we're going to keep it, though. If we just draw a reanimation spell, this sounds kind of insane. Because we can just Lily tick up Summon Bahamut. A fast Summon Bahamut. I know it's still not Summon Primal Odin, but a fast Summon Bahamut is still kind of unbeatable for a lot of decks. Opponent appears to be Rakdosing. Resentful Revelation. That is a card I considered strongly for this deck, and I could not find room for it. But I feel like it could work in a deck like this. Like, if you're trying to fill a graveyard, it's like Sorcery Speed, Anticipate. Well, that's Overlord. Do a little milling. Do a little whiffing. Coiling Rebirth is so sweet with the summons. That's what I really want to see, is Coiling Rebirth, double reanimate a Summon Primal Odin. Opponent has an Overlord, does some milling. Gets back a Velgavas face. Oh, this is the, okay. Opponent's the Rakdos Reanimator deck. Oh, what do we do here? Well, we got to Blast Zone Lily. I think that the upside is just like, get down the Lily, get down the Summon Bahamut, and now if we just top deck, Zombify, Coiling Rebirth, we probably win. Opponent discards a Torch the Tower. Sure. And Fear of Missing Out. Gonna do a little looting. Discards even more Fear of Missing Outs. Plays a land and passes. Well, let's I guess take down the, we have so many lilies. Might as well take down the lily, kill the fear of missing out. And now we probably just get down Collector's Vault. See if we do some looting. See if we can find some old Primal Odin, perhaps. Rogue's Passage. It's so funny. Rogue's Passage is, I don't think I've ever played Rogue's Passage in the standard deck before. I played in commander decks plenty of times. It's kind of a commander staple. Never played it in a standard deck before, and I feel like, actually, maybe I have and I don't remember. I feel like someone in the comments is going to be, actually, back in 2017. But really, I don't think I've ever played it in a standard deck before. Opponent kills Lily #1. It's so perfect with some old Primal Odin, though, especially in this deck since we're mono black, so we can kind of get away with playing some colorless lands, but making some old Primal Odin unblockable on level 2 is pretty good. All right, opponent's going to do their reanimation loop. Vel'Gavoth's Faithful can sack it to get back a... Well, let's loot. Getting back an Overlord of the Baelmerk. I think we discard a Lily. I think we want the instant speed. The instant speed removal here. I mean, this is kind of a... I don't know how powerful of a loop, but it is. Ooh, Arden. Okay, that's actually scary. They can't just like Vel'Gavoth's Faithful, get back the Overlord that mills cards, get back something else. So Arden, yeah, Arden's like double reanimation. That if you reanimate that, you get to reanimate something else. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's get down the Lily. Like we do need to get rid of the Overlord of the Baelmerk. We don't want our opponent getting more value. And then if our opponent goes on the Arden plan, we should be able to kill it before they get to reanimate anything, right? Land for our opponent. Valga. So we're hoping that they just, rather than get back Overlord of the Baelmerk and do it again, kind of hoping they go for Arden. And then we kill the Arden, and then hopefully we're done with this reanimation shenanigans for now. Yeah, we're going to take the 3. Get rid of the Arden before it can reanimate. Can we draw some reanimation? Opponent. Overlord. Unimpending. We draw a summon Bahamut. Let's keep on looting with the vault. Okay, there's some more Primal Odin. That's very good. Next turn we can actually just cast the summon Primal Odin. Take up the Lily. Discard Collector's Vault #2. Wow, opponent had to discard Zombify. Wow, I am so glad we picked up that Lily. Opponent had Zombify in hand. That would have been an issue. I mean, and part of the power of summon Primal Odin is it kills something the turn it comes into play too. Like 6 mana, it's like Noxious Gearhulk, but then it can win the game the next turn. It puts our opponent to the test. We're going to tick up, get rid of our opponent's last card, just in case it's removal. Get rid of the Summon Bahamut. And now we will, oh, they discarded Vel'Gavoth. Summon Primal Odin, and now our opponent needs to top deck an answer to the Summon Primal Odin, or they die right now. Like, it is the ultimate removal check. If they don't top deck right here, the game is over. Get it with the Overlord, do a little milling. Get back, I guess, some more Primal Odin action. We even have the Rogue's Passage, so a blocker doesn't do it. It literally has to be, it's got to be removal, or our opponent winning the game somehow this turn. I guess they could demo field the Rogue's Passage if they had a block. Wow, opponent scoops it up. I think that counts as a Summon Primal Odin win. I know he technically didn't get in the attack, but that had to just be our opponent knowing they couldn't stop the attack, right? That's what it had to be. Well, let's bring in our One Unholy Annex, bring in some Duresses. And then I guess we trim some Harvesters. Don't seem to do much. Do we want to go down? Yeah, maybe trim a couple Bahamuts in case the Graveyard Hate comes in. Maybe a Coiling Rebirth. Coiling Rebirth is so cool in this deck. It's so funny. Coiling Rebirth reads like a powerful card. Yeah, let's run it like that. Coiling Rebirth reads like a powerful card. With so many of the best things to reanimate, up until now, were legends, so you couldn't really do anything with it. But now, thanks to the summon cards, we actually have good non-legendary reanimation targets, which that is pretty exciting. Yeah, let's turn this down just a smidge. All right, there we go. It's blowing out my eardrums. This sounds fine. I like that we have a Ghost Vacuum. I like that we had a Ghost Vacuum. Opponent Duresses takes the Ghost Vacuum. Well, land go. Yeah, I mean, Ghost Vacuum's like the best card in this matchup. Opponent, Fear of Missing Out, sure. Does a little looting. Well, play the land, and let's do some heisting here. We do need to draw lands, but Croaglass Heist, well, it's got to be Zombify. We don't want our opponent reanimating that Final Fantasy Atroxa. Plus, we would like to reanimate something eventually. Opponent, getting in with the FOMO. Land, please. Zombify Flood. All right, missing land #3 is pretty bad. That is pretty bad for us. Opponent. Gonna do a little revelation, do a little digging, fill the graveyard a bit. Tursa A. Well, our opponent's graveyard is going to be full, that's for sure. Overlord of the Baelmerk, there's a Valgavoth. Well, I'm glad we managed to heist that, that Zombifier. We'd be super dead. Still not a land. We might as well impend it. It can't find us a land, but we're not doing anything else this turn. I don't even think we want to get back Summon Bahamut. It's better in the graveyard, I think. Well, okay. We played a card. We're getting there. We're getting there about it. Raccoon Theater. Gonna do a little milling. And there's a Tursa. Gonna do more looting. Yeah, this is kind of looking grim. Well, missing lands tends to do that to you. Opponent. I don't even know if we can play Unholy Annex, because we're just gonna lose life. We don't really have demons. Opponent takes a Zombify, which... All right, Tursa. Oh, the downside of playing Tursa and Reanimator. Wow, they just snagged their Valgavoth. That is unfortunate. Well, we will Lilia. We finally found land number 3. It might, if we come back into this, that would be shocking if we got back into this game. We missed land number 3 for like 3 turns in a row. But I mean, actually, if we draw one more land, we just Zombify Bahamut and we actually are back into it. Plus our opponent accidentally, okay, land. This Tursa is not doing anything for our opponent. The Tursa's wrecked our opponent. Like, not having Valgavoth in the graveyard is so bad for them. Oh, and then we hit the land? Okay. Well, let's take up Lily. Actually, now we gotta think. Do we actually even get Summon Bahamut? Or do we just get Summon Primal Odin and try to win next turn? Now let's... Thank you, opponent. Yeah, I think we get Bahamut. I think we gotta get Bahamut first. The good news is, so Bahamut has a mode that'll draw us cards in a couple of turns. We also have the Coiling Rebirth, so Bahamut stabilizes, blows up the stuff we need blown up. Maybe it's a removal spell if our opponent top decks. The other problem is we know our opponent has the Abrade in hand, so if we get back to Summon Primal Odin, they just get to kill it right away. But Bahamut, they can't kill immediately. So we need to get the Abrade out of our opponent's hand first. Oh no. Okay. Wait, that's a unfortunate top deck. Wait, that thing can reanimate from our graveyard? Oh no. Well, I mean, someone might die to Summon Primal Odin. Unfortunately, that someone, we need, oh, I don't even know. Our graveyard just got exiled too. Cruel Claw's Heist. I think we're dead now. So if we Liliana take down, they keep the Arden Reanimate, kill us. Or they keep the Odin, take up, kill us. We could steal the Abrade, kill the Odin, but then they still reanimate. Like there's, I guess we might as well cast this and just get a little information about our opponent's deck. We might as well cast the Cruel Claw's Heist. See what they draw into. It is nothing. Yep. Oh, I thought we had that one too. Wow, Arden looked very impressive there. That was actually an impressive Arden win. Let's do it again. Run it back. All right, on to game number 3. We're gonna be on the play. As much as I would like a Ghost Vacuum. Okay, that's better. This is a Ghost Vacuum and Magic the Gathering land cards. Let's get rid of the Coiling Rebirth for now. And we even have a Summon Primal Odin. The question is, what do we do on turn 1? Do we Duress or Ghost Vacuum? I think we're gonna Duress. If we Duress and they have a Duress, we can take their Duress to make sure we keep our Ghost Vacuum. Zombify Duress. Starter pack Sephiroth, okay. Was not expecting starter pack Sephiroth, but sure. Well, unfortunately, as much as we'd like to take the Zombify, I think we just have to take the Duress to make sure our Ghost Vacuum comes down. The Ghost Vacuum, as long as it stick, also kind of shuts down the Zombify. I guess it's like a 6-mana Massacre Worm? Yeah, I don't know. I was not expecting that Sephiroth to see play. Opponent, Resentful Revelation, gonna do a bit of digging. It does have flashback, but the flashback is 7, which means it's more of a late game thing. Plus, I mean, we're just gonna exile it. No creatures to exile, might as well snap the flashback spell. Well, there's a Summon Bahamut. Feels like we're not casting anything for a minute. Would be nice if we could find a Lily would be decent. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get the Bahamut in the graveyard. Well, let's keep on nibbling. Eat the Tursa. Well, there's a Rogue's Passage. Okay. Combo setup. Rogue's Passage, Summon Primal Odin. Opponent going to do a little Raccoon Theatering. Some Surveillance. Leaves it on top. I mean, I guess at this point we just want to keep drawing lands. Fear of missing out. Discards a land, draws a card. Keep on eating the flashback spells. Actually, I'm almost not sure if it's worth it. I almost feel like if our opponent's gonna spend 7 mana on an Anticipate, we want them to do that. Like, so maybe it's worth leaving just on the off chance that our opponent actually spends 7 mana to draw a card, but opponent hits us with the FOMO. Well, let's, I guess, exile the Zombify. I don't think they can get spells back from their graveyard either way, but, well, okay, there's a land, and, I mean, summon Primal Odin. Love the fear missing out. All right, opponent, can you kill it? Can you kill it? If you can't, you're gonna die next turn. This card might actually be really good. All right, opponent says that they can kill it. All right, this card sucks. On second thought, I take it back. Opponent had a bitter triumph. I'm over it. I'm over Summon Primal Odin already. Another Raccoon Theater. Mills a land. Opponent gonna get frisky with the Restless Fence. Sure. Mostly wants to loot, I assume. Actually, no, doesn't even want to loot. Opponent just hits us, down to 16. Well, let's keep on vacuuming. Get the FOMO. Oh, all right. Wow. Okay. I mean, kind of awkward that there's nothing to kill, but our opponent is something for Summon Primal Odin to kill. Might not do anything this turn, but we put him to the test again. Opponent, do you have a removal spell? If not, you're about to die because we got the Rogue's Passage. Wow, desperation mode. Restless Fence. We're not blocking. On the off chance that they have, like, Torch the Tower or something, we're just gonna take it. Opponent loots. Do you have a removal spell, opponent? That's all that really matters. Wow, we don't block, and opponent sees the Odin coming and scoops it up, and that felt pretty good. Those were Odin wins. Those were Summon Primal Odin wins, and that's the power of the card. Like, it comes down, blows up a blocker, and then puts you to the test the next turn. All right, sure. I mean, couple of Overlords and Odin, we will accept it. A Blast Zone. Oh yeah, Blast Zone in this deck. So the big upside of Blast Zone is, haha, nice duress you got there, man. Ma'am? Maybe it's ma'am. I ma'am. Land and Overlord. Do a little milling. And I guess we just take a Harvester. Oh, this could be a fast one. We got the Summon Bahamut in the graveyard, and we have the Coiling Rebirth in hand. We haven't seen Coiling Rebirth pop off yet, but this might be the game. Oh, so opponent's like a discard deck. I see what you're doing over there, ma'am. Well, they're gonna take the Overlord. Another Coiling Rebirth. But Blast Zone's very good. It's a land that blows up Rest in Peace or Ghost Vacuum. That's the reason. One of the awkward parts of the deck is we do have like 7 colorless lands, which normally is fine, but every once in a while you do get the I drew all the colorless lands game. Let's get down the I forgot the auto tapper hates to tap Blast Zone. Get down the Lily. Take up the Lily. Well, there goes the Lily. I guess we just discard the Primal Odin. You know what's better than 1 Summon Primal Odin? That would be 2, thanks to Coiling Rebirth. We are 1 land away from doing the Coiling Rebirth thing. Opponent finds their land, which they really needed. Unholy Annex, okay. Well, if we find a land, we get to blow that up before it does too much damage. Opponent draws down to 18, we find, okay, Blast Zone. We will take it, and opponent, I would like to give you a present. I'd also like to give myself the present of 2 Summon Bahamuts, and we're going to blow up your Unholy Annex a couple of times. Unimpend. All right, opponent. How about 2 Summon Bahamuts? Can you beat them? That is 10 flying power, and they both trigger for more removal next turn. The summon cards are sweet. They're so cool. Opponent, go for the throat. All right, so big Bahamut down. Well, smack you for 1. That was not as much damage as I was hoping. Are we just doing it again? I think if we do it, we're getting Odin this time, though, I think. Yeah, I think we just get Odin, and we're like, can you kill them both? That's the power of Coiling Rebirth, right? Like, not only do they have to kill a Odin before next turn, they have to kill 2 Odins before next turn. If they can't kill 2 Odins, then Odin kills them. That's what Odin does. Odin might actually be a real card. It might actually be good. About it. Gix's Command. Wow. So gets rid of the 2 little ones, but we can sack the Overlord. And Odin survives. It triggers. Only takes 1 attack, and we're actually going to see it happen. Odin says death. It just keeps getting them. So our opponents, we didn't see a ton of their deck. Some sort of Orzhov grindy deck, I guess. Unholy Annex seems good. The Duresses seem good. I'm not sure what we're going to. I guess the typical, like, Custom Bahamut's, expect they're going to have Graveyard Hate, trim a little Reanimation, trim a Harvester. I kind of like the Deadly Cover-Ups, too. Yeah, let's try it like that. Deadly Cover-Up, you got to remember, it's not just a Wrath, but it's also kind of combo hate if you can collect the evidence, which can be powerful. Kind of awkward we got 2 colorless lands, but hopefully we find more black mana in time to play this Lily. Swamp for our opponent. Well, I guess we don't have to worry as much about finding a swamp for the Lily. Opponent Duresses. I imagine the Lily's about to go, but we will, yeah. Lily down. Even more blast zones. Okay. Opponent land. I know we're gonna impend this Overlord and we're gonna mill like 3 swamps. That's how it always goes. Oh. Okay, it was literally 3 swamps. I didn't mean for you to take me literally, Magic God, but oh boy. Overlord doing Overlord things. No creatures, 3 swamps. I will say, Overlord does whiff a lot in this deck. We don't have that many creatures. So when you impend it on turn 2, do not be surprised if you whiff. Collector's Vault's actually pretty good here, just because it's a way we can make black mana. Don't be surprised if it whiffs. Its main power is in the late game. Once we start doing Odin stuff, then we play the Odin, our opponent's got to kill it, and if they kill it, we can just get it back and play the Odin again, and eventually they're going to run out of removal, and Odin's going to get them. Sheoldred. Can we draw a black source for Lily, please? Please, please, please. All right. Oh, now the question is, do we want to loot first? Is it worth looting? Discard Blast Zone, make a treasure, sack the treasure, take 2 from Sheoldred. I don't think it's actually worth it. If we didn't have to spend the treasure, it'd be worth it. But since we had to spend the treasure anyway, let's just Liliana, kill the Sheoldred. We'll see if our opponent fires up the Soulstone Sanctuary. Because of Unholy Annex, and the fact that they can kill the Lily, they're kind of incentivized to, yeah. Opponent gonna fire up the Soulstone. We're still a mana away from Odin, although we could run out the Overlord. Get back to Lily. We've drawn 3 of 3 Blast Zones. We'll see if they're relevant at some point. They might be. Well, Overlord. Full price, do some milling, get back to Lily. Unimpend. We need to get rid of this Unholy Annex, which basically means Summon Bahamut, I think, is our only way. So we're not especially close to that, but Aclazotz, eh? Man, I remember when Aclazotz was pretty good. There was a time when Aclazotz was seeing so much... Ooh, Zombify. Well, let's get in with the Overlord. Maybe we mill a Bahamut or something. Oh, we do. Okay, opponent's going to take it. So we can reanimate the Bahamut. Bahamut? Bahama. I am still not sure I'm saying that right, but I'm not sure about most things when it comes to saying them right. I mean, we're definitely going to play the Blast Zone. I don't know if we just summon Primal Odin or if we reanimate here. Odin is big, but I feel like we kind of want to kill the Aclazotz. We could also Deadly Cover Up and exile the Aclazotz. If we don't reanimate now, they could have Graveyard Hate before next turn. Thing is, if we reanimate... All right, let's just reanimate Bahamut. That's fine. Reanimate the Bahamut. I feel like we need to kill the Aclazotz, but Bahamut's the only thing that can kill the Unholy Annex, but given the circumstances, I think the plan is blow up the Aclazotz. We got a 9/9. We have 2 Overlords. Maybe we just race him and kill him in like 1 more attack. We have a lot of power on the battlefield right now. And then we still have the Summon Primal Odin if there's a blocker or something. We can get the blocker out of the way. Can you answer our Summon Bahamut? Not as much of a one-shot kill threat. Well, all right. I'm glad we're reanimated because we would have lost the Bahamut forever. Rest in peace. I mean, that's the power of Odin. Like, Odin's cheap enough that we can cast it. And Qasari... oh, God. Okay. Qasari Revenant. Do you have removal, though? They need to be able to kill the Bahamut at least. Otherwise, I mean, the Odin just kills the Revenant, and our opponent's kind of in a rough spot. Although attacking with the Overlords is awkward here. Opponent, Unholy Annex... Well, we will Collector's Vault in response. Another summon Primal Odin. Okay. I think Odin might be getting there. 2 Odin's pretty good. Wait, are they not killing the Bahamut? We also get to blow something up with Bahamut. I just assume the Bahamut's gonna die. Well, let's blow up the rest in peace. We could have maybe tried to win this turn, but I don't think we really need to. But if we could have tried to just blow up both creatures, but it's safest just to get rid of the rest in peace. Go to combat. I mean, so our opponent can chump with the Soulstone Sanctuary to stay alive, but then they have to deal with our board, essentially. They have to deal with literally everything. And we got the Rogue's Passage for the Odin. All right, opponent, you're on the clock. Get in there. All right, more Odins. Can never have too many summon Primal Odins. All right, that one's a whiff, sure. Maybe they have removals too. Okay, opponent had Shieldred's Edict. Well, I guess we actually just sack the Odin, so then they have to chump block. So opponent blocks. They drop to 5. Odin off the table for now, but 2 more in hand. Our opponent basically needs a Wrath. They basically need a Wrath. Archfiend to the Dross, okay. That dies to Odin. Preacher of the Schism. That also dies to Odin, kind of. Opponent drains us, goes to 7. But we get to draw 2 with Bahamut. Play the land. I mean, yeah. I mean, summon Primal Odin, blow up the flyer, hit you with Bahamut, and apparently summons better than demons. And about it. Scoops it up, and Odin just keeps getting people. Yeah. Only 2 lands is a little sketchy. Ooh, mono red. Only 2 lands scares me a little bit, but land number 3 helps, even though it's colorless. Mountain for our opponent, and Magebane Lizard. Well, our opponent's prepared for prowess. We don't really care that much about Magebane Lizard. We're really not casting that many non-creature spells, or at least a bunch in the same turn. Opponent, Mountain, and thankfully we got some removal, which is good. Manifold Mouse. Let's pitch the heart. Well, they could have Monstrous Rage. Let's wait. Well, they don't have haste, so they're not gonna cast it on Manifold Mouse. Whatever. Sure. Hit us with the lizard. We are gonna pitch it. If they use a Monstrous Rage now, at least they're down a Monstrous Rage. And then I guess we could untap and Bitter Triumph it. But we do need the mouse to die. Double Strike is very scary. All right. Bahamut's a little bit on the high end for our current hand. a minute away from summoning Bahamut, maybe. I feel like I've said Bahamut like 10 different ways this video. Opponent, Haste Land. Wow. This is not a sign of strength from our opponent that their best use of 2 mana is to pump a Magebane Lizard by 1 to show them that that's not a good use of their mana. I think we're going to kill it. And discard this summon Bahamut to get in the graveyard. We don't really care about the Lizard that much at 19, but we do actually want the Bahamut in the graveyard because if we draw land, and that's a land, there's nothing to blow up which makes it feel weird, but how does Mono Red beat a 9/9? How do they beat a 9/9 flyer? It takes a lot of Monstrous Rages to... All right, the answer appears to be they do not. Opponent scoops it up to the 9/9. I mean, if we can even be aggro, then maybe this deck actually is legit. Let's bring the Filgary Silexes. Gonna go down some Bahamuts. Go down a Avatar, maybe a Lily. Do a little trimming, just a little trimming of the high-end stuff. And yeah, run it like that. Oh boy. The 7-lander on the draw against Mono Red. That is literally the worst situation to be in Magic. This hand's better, but still, considering we're up against Mono Red, I would not say this hand is good. It's a little bit on the slow side. Opponent starts with a Hired Claw. And yeah, they're off to a faster start. Oh boy. Okay, opponent's off to a much faster start. Opponent had the hand that was good against Prowess, but not very good against our deck last game. This time they have a hand that seems good against our deck, especially since our hand is so slow. Well, Cruel Glass Ice, give you a card. We need to steal a removal spell, which I guess Lightning Strike. We could take the Burst Lightning because it's more mana efficient, but then they could trigger Prowess in response. So we're just going to take the Lightning Strike as a way. Thankfully, they don't have another land, so they can only... I don't know if it's going to matter because they're just so far ahead on board, but they can only play one thing this turn, which is good. We drop to 10. We find a Bitter Triumph, which is good for the future. Yeah, let's Lightning Strike a mouse while they're tapped down. I don't think we can get back in. I think we're just too far behind, but we'll see. Actually, they have another Lightning Strike and a Burst Lightning. Actually, we're kind of... Wait, are we just actually dead? 5 points of burn, 1, 2... Oh, we're actually just... Yeah, we're actually just quite literally dead to their burn spells. All right, Mono Red. All right, mice. All right, on to game 3, we're on the play. This hand, at least we have a couple of cheap removal spells. We also have a Summon Bahamut, which is the opposite of a cheap removal spell, but the fact that we have a Harvester and an Anoint is pretty nice. What do we do now? Do we need to leave up removal? Getting on the Overlord would be good. Cruel Cost Heist could also be good. We can't take that much. Yeah, we're gonna get on the Overlord. The upside of impending an Overlord on turn 2 is, yeah, we're gonna leave that in the graveyard. The upside of it getting to impend it early is it could actually turn into a creature fast enough to matter to this game, even against mice. Opponent, Emberheart Challenger. Okay, so that's gonna have to die. Opponent hits us for 4 down to 16. Another Overlord. Yeah, let's just pass. Unimpend. Maybe we can get a pump spell. That'd be nice if they go in with the Monstrous Rage and we can anoint a mouse. Getting in. Hits us down to 15. Come on, go for that Monstrous Rage. Come on. But you know you gotta do it, opponent. Think of all the damage. Oh, what? I think our opponent might have outsmarted themselves on that one. I don't think I've ever seen anyone Burst Lightning their Emberheart Challenger before. So the math there is our opponent decided that looting for the turn was better than I'm so confused. That is the weirdest. It is hard for my brain to comprehend why that would make sense to do, but I'm not playing the mouse deck, so opponent plays the Manifold Mouse. So I guess it kind of worked out for them. They hit a Manifold Mouse. Let's Cruel Claw Heist. Give you a card. See what we're working with over there. Definitely taking the Lightning Strike. So I think what we want to draw another land. We want our opponent to play this Manifold Mouse, maybe with a baby, and then just hard cast this Harvester of Miseries to wrath the entire board. So we can Lightning Strike a Manifold Mouse or the Hired, something this turn, probably the Manifold Mouse. And then hopefully we can just clean up all the creatures, and then we do need to hit the land though. If we don't hit the land and we have to discard the Harvester to kill something, then it becomes a little bit worse. Not going with baby. Why did they not go with baby? Huh. Unsure why they didn't Offspring, but sure. Oh, I guess they want to haste it up. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You're right, opponent. You're right. Yep. Haste on the Manifold Mouse. I think we wait until they target. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious they just go double strike, but we might as well wait and make them do it, and then we'll kill the 2/2. And then we end up taking what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go to 10. All right. If we draw a land, I kind of like where we're at. If we don't draw a land, then all bets are off, really. Opponent hits us to 10. Okay. We draw a Blaststone, which is huge. Slam the Harvester. Get rid of all the mice. All right. The mice problem has been dealt with for now, although unfortunately they have the haste land, which is a little scary. The Witchstalker's Frenzy can kill the Harvester, but if they spend their entire turn killing a Harvester, we're pretty cool with that. That is fine. That means they're not developing their board. And we can play the Overlord next turn. The Summon Bahamut, that might just sit in our hand for this entire game. That might just be our mascot hanging out. Found it passes. More removal is fine. I mean, we're going to get in there. If they kill it, they kill it. Like, the Witchstalker's Frenzy is going to get something. I'd rather have it hit the Harvester, I think, than the Overlord, so. Opponent decides to fire up a Soulstone Sanctuary, but not block. So if we play Overlord, they can Witch Talk. Yeah, let's just pass. Leave up the removal. We get the Overlord off in Pen anyway. So we still have a blocker. All right, opponent's gonna Witchstalker's Frenzy. Well, sorry, mascot. I think we're going to discard the Summon Bahamut. Get rid of the Soulstone Sanctuary. We can always get it back with the Overlord if we want to. We'd rather find a Primal Odin, but opponent's gonna float a mana in response. Sure. And, oh, okay, that is about as much as our opponent could hope for. A hasty Emberheart Challenger. Well, let's take up this Blast Zone. They're here to deal with Graveyard Hate, but we are not above using them to deal with some mice. Wow, they didn't attack? Okay. I mean, that's great for us. I'm not sure why, because our Harvester has Menace anyway. I guess we just Overlord. The other option is what? Leave up Blast Zone? That doesn't feel great. Yeah. Let's get down the 5/5. Mill some cards. See what... Okay. Well, there's a summon Primal Odin. We still need one more mana to cast it. You didn't hit your opponent down to 10. We got more cards. We got the bigger board. Wait, are we actually just going to beat mice? If this deck actually can beat mice, this deck might actually just be... It might actually be kind of good. Like, this deck might actually just be good. I don't want to say did we break it, but did we break it? You know, did we break it if you beat the mice? Counting up the number of monstrous rages. Do we die if they have 2 monstrous rages? I don't think so. 3, actually 4 because of prowess, so 10. Pump with that, 11. Actually, in theory, we could. They could, like, monstrous rage into hit another monster. They need, like, 3. It would have to be kind of miraculous. They'd have to, like, hit off the Valiant draw on Emberheart Challenger, but in theory, they could do that. Instead, it seems like our opponent is going to just stop playing and... Well, I mean, it's a win. It's not a Summon Primal Odin win, exactly, but it is a win. I mean, when it comes to mice, I will take a win however you can get them. Against these aggro decks, you can't be picky. You gotta take the W's however they come. Unfortunately, our opponent had a lot of timeouts saved up. I don't understand why people do this. Like, I really don't understand. Like, if you play at a normal pace throughout the entire game, it makes me assume if you just play really slow the whole game, I just assume you're playing on mobile. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's not your fault. Like, I'm sure I take forever to play Arena on mobile. Like, that's just playing on mobile. But when you play fast the whole game, and then right when you're facing down, like, potentially lethal, you lose all your timeouts, that's when you know someone, like, I don't want to say did it on purpose, but at least it could have been avoided. Maybe they just close out of Arena rather than conceding, but you could have conceded first. Well, it does mean we get to play Summon Primal Odin. Summon Primal Odin. Why can't I say that and hit you for 10? And all right, our opponent was not even there to see the victory, I don't think, but got him. Mice down, ranking up. I mean, this hand's fine. We can fill the graveyard. We got a Coiling Rebirth, got a little removal, got the Rogue's Passage if our opponent has blockers. Hello, friend. Ooh, Gnawing Vermin. Okay, Roots maybe? When I see a Gnawing Vermin and Golgari mana, it makes me think probably Insidious Roots. Well, let's get down to Overlord. See if we can mill something sweet. Do we just mill 3 Overlords? Okay. Yeah, that is a thing. Well, I guess we're through the Overlord stage of the game. Opponent, Gnawing Vermin. I mean, Coiling Rebirth and Overlord is actually not that bad. Not as fun as Bahamut or Odin, but still not bad. Speak of the Odin, well, land and keep on going. Sadly, our opponent has not played anything, or maybe thankfully. I don't know if it's sadly or thankfully, but our opponent has not played anything good enough to kill with this Bitter Triumph yet. It's just got to be Roots, right? What else could our opponent be doing with these cards? All right, Souls of the Lost. Well, that's something that is actually good enough to kill. Opponent rats us down to 17. Sure. Well, that's Bitter Triumph. Yeah, we'll discard the Odin. I think our plan is actually Coiling Rebirth the Odin here. Well, we need one more turn, but play the land, pass the turn. Ideally, with Rogue's Passage, in my head, the dream is we hold it in hand so our opponent doesn't see it coming and they think they can block the Odin, and then we play it and we get them. In practice, it's not that easy to not play it until it's time, but we'll discard the Swamp to the Hollow Marauder. Oh, that's okay. So this is like Golgari Beans. I see. Well, thankfully, we're going to get a couple of Primal Odins here, and we're going to say, opponent, do you have enough removal spells to not be dead? We will blow up the Hollow Marauder. I don't even really want to kill a rat because then it just kills an Odin. So we'll just double trigger on the Hollow Marauder. Unimpend the Overlord. Pass the turn. Opponent. Show us those removal spells, opponent. Rubble Belt. Okay. Not exactly removal, but sure. Opponent's going to get their Surveil on with a Rebel Belt Maverick. I guess kind of they only need one removal spell because they can kill whatever one we make unblockable. The good news for us is we're at 15, so we're not really in any danger of dying. Okay, Huskbuster Swarm. That's a bit of a clog. Wait, that's got to be game though, right? Is there actually a... They only have 1 mana. Is there a 1 mana card that can kill an Odin? I feel like there's not. But if there's not, why are they not scooping? Okay, well, maybe they scoop to this Rogue's Passage on the Summon Primal Odin. Do it on the big one, because they could cut down a little one. Wow. Overwhelming remorse. Okay. Well, there goes our Odin. I can't believe there actually is a removal spell. Not one anyone plays, but yeah, it is perfect for our opponent's deck. If you're filling your graveyard, man, 1 mana, exile anything is kind of insane, actually. Wow, another one. Why did they kill that one? Okay. Opponent decides to kill the 1/1 Odin that was going to sack next turn anyway, and make us lose 2 life. Well, we will block the Gnawing Vermin. Zombify is pretty good. Actually, no, our stuff got exiled. Okay, there's a Primal Odin. Now it becomes better. We'll get back to Liliana. Now Zombify is pretty good. Hit our opponent down to 15. Zombify. Get back the Odin. Blow up a Huskbuster Swarm. All right, opponent. 1 turn. Can you draw a removal spell? They just drew 2 in a row, right? They just drew all those overwhelming remorses. Do you have another one in you? The answer is no. Opponent finds a land, and all right, we are going to send our Odin through the Rogue's Passageway, and yeah, I guess make you die. GG. Do a little mill-in, get back a Harvester of Miseries, doesn't really matter, because Unblockable Odin is actually, like, this is how so many of our games play out, is you just, like, trade off and play a normal game of Magic, and then once you get to the stage of the game where our opponents use their removal, Odin just makes you die. Like, it straight up just kills people. It's so good. It's so good. I imagine it's also absurd in Commander. We're going to bring in our Graveyard 8. I haven't played it in Commander yet, but I imagine in Commander, you already play Rogue's Passage in Commander, or you can play it. A lot of decks do. And you have 3 opponents, so you can always snipe someone. Plus, it gets around, like, I'm the guy that's going to try to gain hundreds of life or whatever. Like, infinite life combos and stuff. Odin don't care. Odin's going to get you anyway. So bring in the Graveyard Hate, switch up the removal a bit, run it like that. I'm still not exactly sure what our opponent's deck is. I guess it's just the Golgari Beans deck. I keep thinking Roots, but we haven't seen Roots. I keep thinking Beans, and we've seen Beans cards, but we haven't seen Up the Beanstalk itself, have we? Town Greeter. It is nice to have Satyr Wayfinder back. I am a big fan of Satyr Wayfinder. I don't know if it's as good now as it was in Theros or whatever 15 years ago. Ooh, okay. Well, opponent's got a Ghost Vacuum. We will match their Ghost Vacuum. This might be interesting. 2 graveyard decks, each with a Ghost Vacuum. I don't know how this is going to end up. Oh, Diamond Weapon. Okay, so opponent's definitely just like a Golgari Roots deck. Playing Diamond Weapon. Okay, there's the Beans. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Well, we are going to attempt to exile this Hollow Marauder. Our opponent can exile it in response if they want. Like, this game honestly might come down to who manages their Ghost Vacuums the best and who gets to activate them to put things into play. Although we have the Harvester of Miseries, and all the Ghost Vacuum cards are 1/1s. So I think what we are playing towards here is weird. Like, obviously we were playing towards Summon Primal Odin win, but I think what this game is heading towards, like, in the distant future, is warring... Ooh, there's an Odin. Is warring Ghost Vacuums. Eventually our opponent cracks their Ghost Vacuum, and on the turn that they do that, we want to follow that up by Harvester, Wrath Your Board, go on to win. Like... That's where this is. It might be many turns from now, but I think that's where this game's going. Well, we are going to exile, I guess, the Huskbuster Swarm, since it has Death Touch. I think that's better than the Diamond thing. We might also be the one to crack a Ghost Vacuum at some point. Well, let's pass the turn. Yeah, this is going to make post decks much less explosive. I think our deck can definitely function through Graveyard Hate. I think our opponent's deck kind of can. Like, it's not going to be very explosive, but they do have cheap things they can play. It's just going to be hard to play the expensive Beanstalk stuff. So we're going to drop to 17. What is it with opponents casting a removal spell on their own cards today? Like, we had the red player that burst lightning their own Emberheart Challenger. Now we're seeing Quag Feast on a Rebel Maverick. We could pitch the Harvester. We're just going to let it go. I guess our opponent just wants more cards in the graveyard. The thing is, like, if it wasn't for Ghost Vacuum, wow, all right, 2 Ghost Vacuums. If it wasn't for the Ghost Vacuums, then I could kind of see the plan of just like, I need permanents in my graveyard so I can play my big stuff and trigger my, or reduce the cost of my big stuff, my Huskbusters and so forth, my Diamond Weapons. But with the Ghost Vacuums going, it seems like it's going to be hard to get those going anyway. We're just going to pass, upkeep. We are going to go after the diamond weapon with our Ghost Vacuum. Diamond weapon does seem very good in these decks. The fact that it cares about all permanents and not just creatures is actually kind of nice. So any lands that you mill over or whatever also, unlike Huskbuster Swarm or whatever, which only cares about creatures. So that is a big upside that it cares about just any permanent. Opponent land and, oh boy. All right, diamond weapon, draw a card. Well, that is an 8/8. We need one more land to be able to Primal Odin it away. We could also just draw a removal spell. Well, I guess we're going to have to... This is also awkward. Like, we Overlord. What happens if we mill like a Summon Bahamut and they get it under their Ghost Vacuum? Hopefully we don't mill anything good. Well, okay. We didn't mill any bombs. We milled a Ghost Vacuum that we would have liked to play, but that's fine. Diamond Weapon also has all damage prevented to it in combat, so we can't even like double block and trade. Opponent going to impend in Overlord. Do a little milling. Get back something. Maybe our opponent mills out eventually. That might be our game plan. Mill him out. Gnawing Vermin for our opponent. Well, let's try to eat a Rub About Maverick. I mean, our opponent's definitely winning the Ghost Vacuum more. The fact that they have two of them means that they are always going to win the Ghost Vacuum more. The good news is we still get to just keep things out of the graveyard. Like, even if they end up under our opponent's Ghost Vacuum, at least they're not in their graveyard, lowering the cost of all their bombs and whatnot. Oh boy. Marauder and Huskbuster milled. Okay. And a Molt Tender. We can only take one more hit off of it. I'd love to just draw land here. That would be the best. Unimpends. Oh, even more Overlords. Well, play the Overlord. Do a little milling. So we are going to have to chump a diamond weapon, which is kind of a bummer. Do some milling. Nothing to note. Exile the... let's go Hollow Marauder, I think is better than Huskbuster here. Opponent also has enough mana that they could crack a Ghost Vacuum. Step 1, deal with the diamond weapon. At some point, this Harvester, I really want to save the Harvester for after they crack their big Ghost Vacuum, but we'll see. We need a land, not really a... Yeah, we're just going to pass. The problem is if we attack and they draw a removal spell, then we just die to diamond weapon, because they can kill the one blocker. Opponent, Gnawing Vermin. Gonna keep milling themselves. I mean, I guess if they attack, we just double block and we end up trading one Overlord for it, which is actually not bad. So we're actually kind of fine. If they hit a removal spell, it's very bad, but since they didn't hit a removal spell, I'm fine with trading an Overlord for a diamond weapon here. Actually, no, it doesn't work because it prevents all damage. I'm so dumb. Okay. Yeah, we're still chump blocking. For a minute, I was like, wait, no, this is way better than I thought, but no, it definitely is getting all the damage prevented. Okay. Wow, no attacks. That is surprising. And, well, would have rather just drawn a land to play the summon Primal Odin and win the game next turn. However, we will settle for a Bitter Triumph, which can kill the diamond weapon. Opponent, end step. I'm going to do a little Molten Milling. Sure. Well, let's set an upkeep stop. So we can exile something, or attempt to with the Ghost Vacuum. This has been a weird game. Like a... Stall you out. Opponent's so good at drawing these Gnawing Vermins. Gonna do a little gnawing, put a couple cards in the graveyard. Has not yet reached the point where they're afraid enough of milling out that they're targeting us. Gonna get in with the diamond weapon. I think they intended to attack last turn and didn't on accident. Well, let's kill the diamond weapon. Pitch a Zombify because with two Ghost Vacuums, our reanimation plan is not gonna work. If we can just draw land number 6... We're seeing the downside of summon Primal Odin, which apparently 6 mana is just impossible for us to hit. But if we draw land number 6, we should just win the game, right? We should just play Odin, kill something the next turn, make it unblockable, kill you, but we need that last land. Well, let's go after the diamond weapon. I expect our opponent going to exile it with one of their Ghost Vacuums. They still haven't cracked a Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, opponent eats the diamond weapon with a little Ghost Vacuum. Unimpends. Second Harvester is actually interesting. Second Harvester means we can play Harvester now. This is actually amazing because this is going to nuke our opponent's board, and that's probably going to force our opponent to crack one of the Ghost Vacuums. And then once they crack one of the Ghost Vacuums, then we play the second Harvester nuke all this stuff from the Ghost Vacuum, and then I think we actually might just be ahead at that point. Well, would you like to do anything in response? Opponent, gonna mill with Molt Tender. Opponent's definitely not super afraid of milling out. Well, Harvester, everything gets -2, -2, which pretty much a Plague Wind here. The Gnawing Vermins, oh, I guess they can kill an Overlord. Actually, wait, no, opponent, not like... Okay, opponent decides not to kill an Overlord. Maybe they're trying to mill us out. Is that on purpose? Was that a pun, or are they intentionally daring us to attack and mill cards to these Overlords? Well, they all whiffed anyway, all right. Well, hit you for 3. How about that, opponent? Down to 17. And do we want to Ghost Vacuum now? We'll just wait. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I mean, if they find their... Yeah, if they find their Huskbuster cards, I got a graveyard now. Hollow Marauder, gonna make us discard. Well, thankfully, we can discard our reanimation since this is just not the game for the reanimation spells. That also tempted our opponent to not Ghost Vacuum, looks like. They'd rather play that, which also makes sense. I guess we're kind of just winning on board now. Like, we do have 15 power, and our opponent has a 4-2. When 2 graveyard decks each draw their graveyard 8, you end up with the slap fight. Really, our biggest problem, our deck doesn't care that much about graveyard 8, honestly. It cares some, but our problem is just we have not found land number 6 for Summon Primal Odin for a lot of turns. Oh my god, okay. Souls of the Lost, casual 19-20 for 2. We're also at 8, so we can't take that many hits from this Marauder. Well, let's vacuum up a Ghost, which I guess is a Huskbuster Swarm. Our Ghost Vacuum has nothing under it, because they always just get to steal whatever we go for, but I mean, I imagine they're going to eat it. Yep, opponent eats the Huskbusk. Why are we so bad? It's been so many turns. Where's land number 6? Where is land number 6? Where's Wallace? Well, that's Overlord of the Bailmerk. They have all whipped. Which is, it's actually hilarious. All of our Overlord triggers have whiffed and not hit a creature, but it's actually kind of good that they've whiffed because there's so many Ghost Vacuums that I think it's better that they're not actually putting Summon Bahamut's and so forth in the graveyard for our opponent to Ghost Vacuum. That would actually be a concern. I mean, I guess we can Harvester it, but if we have to Harvester, then we're gonna die to the Ghost Vacuum once it happens. All right, let's attempt to Ghost Vacuum. Maybe we should try to eat bad things with a Ghost Vacuum. Things that our opponent won't want to eat. So then at least we can get something under our Ghost Vacuum. How about a Molt Tender? Do you care about a Molt Tender, opponent? All right, opponent does not care about a Molt Tender. Oh, thank goodness. All right, well, land number 6. We have done the impossible. We have done the impossible. I mean, I think we got to go for it. So we summon Primal Odin. What happens with the Ghost Vacuum? Hopefully it's fine. All right, let's summon Primal Odin. We got to blow up the flyer. If we don't blow up the flyer, we die. So we got to hit the Hollow Marauder. The other stuff does not have trample or anything, so we can just chump our way to survive the Overlord and such. It's been a very interesting game. This has been a very long, interesting, weird game. Opponent gonna eat the Hollow Marauder. In response, haha, a taste of your own medicine, perhaps. What if we target what you're trying to hit? Actually, I don't even know if do we even care? Like, if they put this, if we go in response and they end up with it under the bigger Ghost Vacuum, which is the one they want to crack more. So I think if they're going to put it under the little one, I think we actually just let them put it under the little one. Because if they spend 6 and crack to just put those 3 things into play, that's kind of okay. I mean, our opponent knows. They know that death is staring them in the eye, and death's name is Odin. Opponent gonna crack the Ghost Vacuum. This doesn't do anything, right? Hollow Marauder. Diamond Weapon. Wait, is this our opponent just accepting death? Okay, Hollow Marauder. Yes, we will discard an expensive card, sure. There goes our Harvester. There goes Bahamut. This looks like we win, right? Don't we just win with Odin? After all of that, this super long, super grindy match with Ghost Vacuums everywhere. In the end, the turn after we find land number 6, we win with Odin anyway. That was the problem. The problem was just not finding land number 6. It wasn't the Ghost Vacuums and all that. Like, we had this win many turns ago if we could have just cast Odin. Well, chump and chump, and I think we got him. And summon Primal Odin has looked very impressive. This might be the worst game to say it in, because this was a weird, clunky game, but Summon Primal Odin is like really impressive. Opponent gives us a GG's, GG you back, Rogue's Passage on the Odin, and first attack we fit our opponent with all game, last attack we need all game. Summon Primal Odin is pretty sweet, that's for sure. So what did we learn this week about Summon Primal Odin in Standard? And overall the deck kinda crushed it. So we went 5-1 with the deck, and honestly, almost all of our wins came from Summon Primal Odin. And I gotta say, Summon Primal Odin might actually not be that much of a meme. So yes, it is 6 mana. It's going to be a little slow if you're up against Mice or Prowess, like the top tier aggro decks of the format. But if you really think about it, Noxious Gearhulk, another 6-drop that blew something up when they entered, they used to see play not super long ago. So I think that a 6-drop that just kills your opponent's best creature is already not that bad, but the real power is that second chapter, the one-shot kill mode, and we got to see that be absolutely insane. The way the deck played out is we just kind of grind and like kill your stuff and, you know, set up a board, and then eventually we play the Summon Primal Odin, and it just is the ultimate removal test, right? Our opponent has to have a way to deal with it, especially since we're playing those Rogue's Passages to make it unblockable, and blockers don't work. Our opponent has to have removal. If they do, then we're like, okay, sure, we'll just reanimate it or get it back with an Overlord of the Baelmerk and do it again and do it again and do it again and just keep grinding you out. So I feel like that is the power of Summon Primal Odin. Yes, it looks a little bit expensive, but it just puts so much pressure on the opponent to have the exact right answer at the exact right time. And a lot of times they don't actually have it, or even if they do, we can find a way around it. So I've started to think that Summon Primal Odin might actually be a kind of real card, at least after we get to rotation and after we get past the ban list window. Like I said, if you're up against Mice or something, it's just probably a little slow, although all of our removal helps us stay alive. It's not like the end of the world in those matchups. Other cards I wanted to shout out, Coiling Rebirth. Oh my god, that card's so sweet. I absolutely love Coiling Rebirth, and it works so well. We got to see it double reanimating Odins, double reanimating Bahamets, really, really powerful there. And then Summon Bahamut, the card is also kind of absurd. Being a mono black deck, we're not really good at dealing with Urabrosk's Forge or Unholy Annexes, you know, artifacts, enchantments. We're good at killing creatures, but we're not good at killing that stuff. Summon Bahamut is a way that we can get rid of anything that's troubling us, and as a 9/9, it is a really fast clock in the air. So I gotta say, I love this deck. It felt competitive. Summon Primal Odin actually felt really good. And the other thing I didn't mention that I wanted to point out is one of the things I love about this deck is, yes, it's kind of a reanimation deck, but one of the huge upsides of Summon Primal Odin is we're a reanimation deck that can just cast our finishers. So you probably saw in the matches, a lot of times in game 1, we just have our starting deck with all the Bahamets and all the reanimation. And then when we go to game 2, we assume our opponent's going to bring in Graveyard Hate. So we can go down some of the Summon Bahamets, go down a little bit of reanimation, and just plan on being more of like a mono black control deck almost with some reanimation synergies, but mostly mono black control, and just trust that we're going to play Summon Primal Odin and win by attacking with it, making it unblockable that way. So that makes it really powerful to be able to get these like fast kills thanks to reanimation, but also be able to function pretty well even through our opponent having some sort of Graveyard Hate in game 2 and game 3. So that's Summon Primal Odin. That's been our deck for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.